All right, thanks guys for being here today. We have some questions here that we want to ask our students. As many of you know, Rockwell ISD values excellence in our district, and we want to continue to be innovative. But part of the voice, or most of the voice, needs to come from our external customers and our internal customers. And our internal customers and external customers are our students. So I'm glad to have them here with me today. So guys, I have a few questions for you. You guys kind of just jump in whenever you feel like you want to respond to a certain question. But this is about you and for you as the district plans the future, okay? So the first question is what are things that you find engaging about school?
Well, personally, I really think that when we do discussions in English, and it's a lot like we do Socratic seminars and we talk about the literature that we're reading and the teacher engages with us and we're all allowed to just like talk whenever we want to. I think that that's really engaging and really just broadens your mind on a lot of things, not just the book that you're reading.
Okay, all right.
One thing that I find engaging a lot in class is when we're doing hands-on activities. So like in physics, if we're doing labs, if we're making trebuchets or bridges, and we get to see real-world examples of the education we're learning in class, and we get to see how it works in real life. That's a lot. It's a great way for us to engage.
Okay, all right, thank you. School. Okay, all right, next question. How does school need to be changed to make those goals a reality, or describe what would be happening in the classroom every day if we made these goals a reality?
I feel like we need to make classes more real world applicable, because right now a lot of the stuff I do, I don't really see how some of it applies to the real world, or maybe I can, but maybe the teacher has a different view of that, and so I just want to be on the same page with my teachers on what this will help me with in the future, and not to mention be able to kind of narrow down my personal curriculum to what I feel like I'd be doing in the future and what I feel like my path is.
That's great. In what ways could our schools be updated to be more real world?
Again, with the hands-on activities, I think a lot more of a hands-on activities approach to learning can be really helpful. A lot of our science and math classes already do it, but I think emphasis on that, and then as well, I think more of a teamwork aspect could be included in our education. Like when you get into the real world, you're not going to be working by yourself. You're going to be working with a team of people, a team of engineers, a team of designers, and I think if we can have maybe more focused group learning as well as like individual learning, that way we'll be more prepared for the real world.
And I feel like having career classes as your electives, so you know how we have all these electives and some people will say they're vague, some people will say they perfectly fit them. I feel like if we had certain classes for the more mainstream careers, if we had classes designed to get you ready for that and you treated that as such, with not so much emphasis on making the good grade, but more emphasis on getting ready for what you'll be doing in the future.
Practical.
I feel like those classes, more practical classes would help us in the long run.
Awesome.
I personally love the thought of block scheduling, because when you're in college, you don't take 8 classes a day, you take 2, maybe 1, and some days you even get off, and it's kind of hard to get someone's attention span and to get a workload done in 45 minutes, and then you have to go to another class, and that also goes along with the test. You're like, well, I have 45 minutes to take this test, and I have a test after this. And you would just have days in between to kind of get your brain relaxed.
More classes that apply to real world. My parents were talking about when they were younger, they used to have home education classes, like baking and taking care of a family and doing balancing checkbooks and stuff like that. I don't feel like we'd have enough classes like that to help prepare us for what we're going to have to do in the future and the things that we need to help even raise a family, what we need to do if we're on our own, because in college we're on our own too sometimes. And I don't feel like enough people know what they're doing in college, so I feel like they get stressed out and have too much stuff that they have to worry about. So I feel like if we had classes that helped prepare us for that we'd have more success in the future.
Fair enough. All right.
I agree with that, that we should have more just general life education. But then I also think that if we learned in a way that made us just want to learn and not just get a good grade on a test, that I think that would be really helpful in the real world, because in the real world you're not going to like take an exam over like accounting or something to, like, while you're an accountant. Like, it's you're learning things like as you go, and I think that if we did that in school, then that would be helpful to prepare us for what's actually going to happen, rather than just have a test and then forget everything that you learned on the test and study for the next one.
Okay. All right.
One thing that I think Heath is starting to really stress is getting an internship. And so I know that there's a lot of internships for like engineering and culinary arts and the medical fields. And I'm personally in an internship currently, and I think that the experience that I've learned from that is crucial for like what I'm going to do later in life. So I get to work with a team of engineers every single day and work on projects that are actually being introduced into the real world. So I think it's a super great experience.
How does technology integrate with your learning? How do you use technology to make your life easier when it comes to learning in school?
I personally think it goes along with the real world thing, because now in college you don't get papers, everything's online, and so now whenever we have everything on Google Classroom or Google Docs, like, it really just helps instead of like going through all these papers, and everything's super easy to access, and I love it. There's some things that we still want to do on paper, but I think it's more of a reality when you just go and look, okay, like, this is my class and this is what I have to do.
Okay. All right.
I think nowadays, since so many people use technology, that it helps for people to organize their priorities. Because like back then, people used to have these big binders and stuff with all these folders and everything for all these papers. But I feel like now, since everything's online, that not as many teachers need to start printing stuff off as to just having us keep it on our phone and try to organize it into little files and stuff like that to help keep it into just one little phone or a laptop or something, instead of having to carry around all these big books and all these binders and stuff like that.
So do you organize using your iPhone devices, or do you have your own personal laptops? What kind of technology are you talking about?
I personally use my laptop to help organize all my documents, and I think the biggest part here is the organization. Like, I'm able to keep track of all my documents, and if I need to pull up an old document that I've used maybe like 3 years ago, I can easily do it. I can just pull it up on my laptop and I'm good to go. And I think that's really helped me stay on top of all my homework and my workload.
I prefer to organize myself, actually on paper. I'll like put my whole agenda on paper, just because when it comes to my phone, I use my phone for Twitter, Snapchat, music. I get so distracted, I just forget to check the agenda on the phone. But when it comes to paper, it's solid, it's right there, I see it, I remember writing it down, that muscle memory of writing it down. And so I just feel like technology is good in some aspects, but it shouldn't be the only resource, the only, source you have to organize, to do your classwork, and everything like that.
Right. Definitely agree with that.